You know, science fiction, fantasy, and horror encompasses such a big piece of territory that many great projects go unnoticed sometimes. And I have to admit, I didn't know about Elfquest until our crack producer here at Sci-Fi Buzz, Susan Hyman, told me all about it. Now, how did you find out about Elfquest?
Believe it or not, I was in my local bookstore perusing the shelves. I'd come across a compilation comic book, and I'd never seen anything like that before in a bookstore. I found out Richard and Wendy Pini, the creators, were going to be in town, and we went over to visit them, and she drew this for me.
Are you serious?
People were clamoring to get this for me. They were offering me money. They were pleading and begging.
LA's biggest comic book store, Golden Apple, was in a state of pandemonium recently, all over the independently published fantasy comic Elfquest. What makes this little comic so popular? Who better to ask than a few of the hundreds of fans here? They waited over an hour to get up close and personal with Elfquest's husband and wife team, Richard and Wendy Pini.
They address a lot of social issues in there that you don't see other places. They're a lot more acceptive of outside of the norm kind of thinking. And the artwork is beautiful, the colors are wonderful, the story is well put together. It's a great book.
Well, I wanted to meet him up close. I always did. Ever since I started to read Elfquest.
The Elfquest craze began 15 years ago when an ambitious couple from Poughkeepsie, New York decided to jump headfirst into the comic book game.
Nobody said that we couldn't do it when we started, so we just blindly blundered into becoming publishers.
Though the Pinis admit that it's a jungle out there, competitively, they've been able to stand out with a steady dose of distinctiveness and determination.
Elfquest has a decidedly feminine side to it, which is unusual for comic books to begin with. They're largely produced for males by males. I'm a bit of a freak in the industry. But the feminine side doesn't necessarily mean soft or squishy. It just means that it takes a deeper look at certain things that other comics don't.
How did Elfquest manage to attract female readers, since comic book shops are predominantly a male domain? Well, when the first Elfquest compilation book came out in 1981, the Pinis went mainstream.
It turned out to be very, very successful because not only were we able to sell this volume in comic shops, but we were also able to place it into mainstream bookstores, something that very few other comics projects had done before. And we have a great deal of success in mainstream bookstores with Elfquest.
This is how we gain a lot of our female readership, because a lot of women don't ordinarily shop in comic shops, but they do shop in the big chain bookstores.
Wendy and Richard pride themselves on providing readers with a decent story. As a matter of fact, Wendy, the creative mastermind behind the Elfquest series, shuns comic book tradition and makes it her top priority.
I see a trend in the storytelling in a lot of comics that disturbs me simply by the fact that it's not good storytelling. It relies a lot on violence, it relies a lot on cheap shots, it relies a lot on artificial situations set up, oh, let's get this hero against this villain and see who can trash who first, you know. And it's a rip-off of the public, and it's not good storytelling. I see that, I get my back up about it.
Looking towards the future, the Pinis are eager to expand their Elfquest enterprise in a big way.
Take over the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, elf madness, you know. Sky's the limit, you know. We are open at this point to exploring any avenue that will perhaps lead to a breakthrough in the larger media.
Strangely enough, in the world of comic book fantasy, reality often lurks close by. Among those who stopped by the Elfquest Fest to offer congrats was a top Hollywood producer. And though they're overjoyed by the attention they're beginning to receive from bigger brass, Wendy and Richard are especially humbled by the ongoing devotion of their fans.
We started out mom and pop type little business, and this is our 15th anniversary, and we're overwhelmed and pleased and honored that these people would stand out in a hot Los Angeles, Melrose Avenue day just to come in here.
To have been here for 15 years and have a crowd like this come it makes it very much worth the effort.